Well, let's not waste any time with pleasantries and just get down to the point. Kendra wants gluten-free apple cider cinnamon donuts, and that's what we're gonna do, so let's go. So the first thing you're gonna need to do if you wanna make these donuts is gather all the crap. Now, for sake of time, I'm not gonna go through each individual thing and tell you exactly how much or whatever it is. I will, however, do that when I'm putting it into the bowl. So if you wanna know everything, then go down into the description where I've left a link for the recipe that I am using. One of the other things you're going to need is a kitchen-made stand mixer that you probably got from your mother-in-law for Christmas. And the next thing you need to do is remember that your wife is watching you the entire time, so you should probably do your best. One other thing you'll notice about our setup here is the fact that the stand mixer is on our living room table and is extension corded off into the wall behind the couch. So all I have to say about that is, you know, if you like this video, maybe contribute so that we can buy a bigger kitchen. Just kidding, you don't have to do that. First things first is a 1.5 cups of gluten-free flour, which I am going to be using the quarter measuring cup because the full measuring cup is still in the dish place, and then the 1/2 cup one Kendra's using for something else, so 1/4 cup it is. We'll do 6 of these. Pay no attention to Netflix in the background. That's 1. It's 3, and that's 6. And I'm gonna put in just a little more because some of those are a little empty. Cool. Next is supposed to be the xanthan gum, but the recipe said that if your flour mixture already had that in there, that you don't have to worry about it, so I don't care. Next is 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. This is the half of one, in case you were wondering if I was just shoveling baking powder into this thing. 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, of this strong Arm & Hammer stuff. Don't they put this in, like, cleaning supplies, too? Like, wasn't there, like, Arm & Hammer, like, bleach or something like that? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Next, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. The recipe says kosher salt, so if you're Jewish, watch out. Next is 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar, or tartar, or tartar. I have no idea how to say it or even what it is, but 1/4 teaspoon it is. 1 full teaspoon of cinnamon. That sucks. Small one it is. Next thing you should do is wrestle away from your wife the nutmeg so that she'll stop smelling it and you can use it. 1/4 teaspoon will do. Next, 3/4 cup of granulated sugar. Once again, we'll be doing with the little yellow one. Here's 1, 2, 3. Also, feel free to note at any time during the video that this is probably the most low-budget video you'll ever find on YouTube. So you just do this until it is well combined, which takes, well, that long. And now you make a little hole in the center of everything. And then you get messy because it's fun. So this is where we put in our room temperature butter, unsalted, 6 ounces, egg 1, and egg 2. Room temperature, both of these. I forgot to say that earlier. Don't judge me. And last but not least, 3/4 cup of spiced apple cider. I made it earlier and that's what we're gonna use. So you'll need this paddle attachment, I think is what it's called. If that's not what it's called, again, I don't care. We will definitely need this. I probably should have done that in a different order. Ooh, don't splash. Okay, now we do this. Now we just mix until it's well combined. Stop every now and again to fix your problems. Still going. You should also probably put the bowl back up underneath the thing. That's better. And it's done. Now you should come to your oven and preheat it to 325 degrees. So the next thing you're gonna wanna do is grease your baking trays. I don't have grease because I'm poor, so I'm gonna use butter. But one thing I do have are these nifty donut pans. I got these for Kendra for Christmas because I've been planning on making her these for a very long time. They were on Amazon, they weren't that cheap. By that what I mean is they were cheap, they weren't that expensive. Forgive me, butter. This is a slightly messy, but still effective way of greasing your whatever. Get in there and butter this stuff. And when it doesn't work, you try something else. smaller butter will work better. Be very aware ahead of time on how messy this will make your hands. Now that I've washed my hands and I'm 6 years older, because it's about how long it took to get all of that butter off, I'm going to put the batter into a piping bag, because it turns out you actually pipe donuts. I didn't realize that. I've got a piping bag here. And the way I've seen it done is you put it in a jar and fold it over. And so now comes the messy part. And rinse and repeat. Pull up the stuff, give it a squeeze down to the bottom, turn it, and ask your wife for a hair tie so that this doesn't poop out. That's better. Just to warn you, there will be extra batters, so you will have much more than 12 donuts when you're done, which is what I originally anticipated. So just make sure you remember to refill the bag. We pipe a donut. Don't sweat it if this is your first time doing this. It's my first time and they're not pretty, so I'm gonna fix that. You should probably fix it too. And now that you're here, go ahead and transfer them into the oven, probably for about 12 minutes, during which time I suggest you watch YouTube, Netflix, or read a book, like people do. Now while those are baking, we need to make the cinnamon sugar dip, for lack of a better word, that we're gonna, well, dip them in, so that's probably the best word. Anyway, so what you're gonna need is you're gonna need 1/3 of a cup of just granulated sugar, and then 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, which once again, that doesn't work. So coming out of the oven, they should look something similar to this. I'm real proud. They're not perfect, and some over here got a little overfilled, but that doesn't matter. So what you want is you want to see them pretty kind of pale on top, kind of the same color as the batter, but then whenever you flip them up, they should be a little bit darker on the bottom. We did the toothpick test. So what you want to do now is you're going to let them cool off just a little bit, because you still want them hot whenever you put the cinnamon and sugar, whatever this is, cinnamon and sugar dip on the top, on all over it. Good Lord. Wonderful. By the way, this is like my favorite one. This is one my wife doesn't get to eat. I'm going to eat this one. And it should adhere to it, see? All over the top. And there you have an apple cider cinnamon donut. You're going to repeat this for all of the rest of them, which is what I was going to say. You're going to repeat this for the rest of them, and then, well, bon appetit. Now this is the test that matters. Is it good? Mm-hmm. You can tell me no. You can tell me and our internet audience if they're not delicious. Is it good? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Whew. Well, all right, you guys, I would say that was a success. Thank you very much for watching this, my very first ever YouTube video ever, that has ever been existed ever. So I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like and comment if you wish. Hit subscribe. And I'm going to try to do this every single time I bake something. Unless you tell me in the comments that I suck and you don't want me to, because then I just won't do it. But anyways, thanks for being here. If this were not the only video that was here on this channel, you'd see little squares, you know, like right there and right there, that tell you to go look at other videos. But if you're watching this in the future, those will probably be there. But if not, then don't worry about it. Later.